Good morning. Welcome to Myers Park. My name is Carol Jeffries. I am one of the Collin County Master Gardeners out here in Collin County. I've been asked to describe to you the difference between an annual plant and a perennial plant. We're going to do that in the children's garden, as you see the sign right here over my shoulder. I can show you several examples of each. So let me turn the camera around and we'll get started. An annual plant is a plant that starts from a seed, germinates, grows, puts on seed, dies with a killing frost, all in one growing season. So the plants that you're looking at here fit that description. They will die with the killing frost in the fall, even as pretty as they are. So this is an example of some annuals. I have more annuals in the garden as well. The ones in the bed right here on the end are annuals. And even these sunflowers, I know, the pretty sunflowers that are coming up will be annuals as well. So they will die in the fall. Let's take a look at some bigger annuals. This Mexican sunflower is another example of an annual. Actually, everything in this bed is an annual, from the zinnias to the ornamental peppers to the narrow leaf zinnias at the bottom, all annuals. So sadly, their life cycle will end in the fall. Now, what do we have in the garden that is a perennial? Plenty. We have shrubs. We have pomegranate trees, well, bushes. Whoa, we have lavender. That's a perennial. Any guesses what the description of a perennial is yet? We have lamb's ear. Sorry about the shadow. More lavender. Woo! Look, we've got even a little skipper butterfly today. We have fig tree. All of these are perennials. A description of a perennial is a plant that lives 3 years at least, and often more in Texas. I'm going to show you one that I grew from seed that is a perennial back here. And then I'm going to show you some plants and see if you can guess which they are. This is a perennial and is called a calendula, or otherwise known as pot marigold. You can look that one up. So it does die back kind of to the ground, but then it comes back in the spring. So let's look at some plants and see if you can tell me which they are. We have a pepper plant. Is this an annual or perennial? It is an annual, so it will not make it. Now let's look at these kaleidoscopabilias. What do you think? Annual or perennial? Correct, they are perennials. New gold lantana is also a perennial, correct. They also are great pollinator plants. We have blackberries out here. What would your guess be on this one? No, we don't start them from seed every year, so these are perennials. How about these tropical milkweed here? Well, in our climate, sometimes they try to live through the winter a little bit. But it's best to cut them down because otherwise the butterflies will not migrate. They are annuals. So I hoped you learned a little bit about what's the differences between the two. I'm sure you already probably knew, some of you. But that is the difference between annual and perennial. Annual, 1 year. Perennial, at least 3 or more. It's best to plant perennials that are good for your area, because trying to grow something that grows up in the north part of the United States down here, it just doesn't work. So I hope that you learned something today, and thank you for dropping by to Myers Park in the Children's Demo Garden.